What is beauty? This subject has baffled thinkers throughout the ages. For the Greek goddess Aphrodite, beauty was a superpower in which she could overpower men with sexual longing. Philosophers contrast beauty with the sublime, that feeling of awe and the presence of greatness, like being awestruck at the immensity of the Atlantic Ocean, in which one loses oneself to a formless force which makes a person feel minuscule. But beauty inspires a different kind of awe, an awe which is limited to a thing or a place or idea or person. The poet Shelley thought beauty was a spirit, mysterious and powerful, darting about. He wrote, "Like hues and harmonies of evening, like clouds and starlight widely spread, like memory of music fled, like aught that for a grace may be dear, and yet dearer for its mystery." Shakespeare described beauty as fleeting. Beauty is but a vain and doubtful good, a shining gloss that fadeth suddenly, a flower that dies when first it begins to bud, a brittle glass that is broken presently, a doubtful good, a gloss, a glass, a flower, lost, faded, broken, dead within an hour. Perhaps Shakespeare was grumpy when he wrote that, since his assessment of beauty fading somewhat superfast seems harsh. But why is something beautiful? The word beautiful, like beautiful, seems misleading, as if beauty is a magic liquid that could be poured into something to make it full of beauty. I don't think we can make something beautiful by pouring beauty into it, and poof, it's beautiful. Beauty is about living things. An inanimate object like a rock cannot look at another rock and say, wow, that rock is beautiful. Rather, the assessment of beauty is a mental process of appreciation made by a living thing, particularly a human. A human could say that a rock is beautiful. Beauty is about internal harmony. A thing or person that is beautiful is made up of different parts, parts which are perceived to go together, which coexist in a relaxed way, parts which mesh and which have an apparent pattern which we can understand. Beauty is a life-focused harmony of different parts into a whole that resonates, parts that gel into something greater than the parts. And beauty is about order. Beauty requires that there should be someone to perceive the beauty. And we can think of beauty as a quality possessed by an object or person, as if to say, this tree is beautiful, or that face is beautiful. But the quality alone is not enough. Rather, there must be a living being to see the beauty and admire it. Humans are attracted to beauty. Beauty is expressed in color and shape, structure and form, in harmony and melody, but its underlying essence is order. When we perceive this life-affirming and life-supporting order, we see it as beautiful, and we are attracted to this beauty. One ordering principle is symmetry. Human faces are usually fairly symmetrical, with the left side being a mirror image of the right. Each one of us is the end result of generations upon generations of sexual intercourse between symmetrically faced humans. Symmetry is a visible signal of genetic order. It is proof positive that our developing cells, left and right, when they were growing, timed their signals properly so the left and right sides grew in tandem, balanced, ordered. Achieving perfect symmetry is hard to do given sickness, injury, malnourishment, but our faces usually come close, and our symmetrical faces broadcast to possible partners that we are genetically healthy and that we are suitable for mating. It is relatively easy for our powerful, visually oriented brains to tell if another person's face is symmetrical. Suppose you only saw this half of my face or this half of my face. You could not make a judgment. Our face is like a quiz. The left side is a question, the right side the answer, and the question is, do they match? It is how we can identify somebody as symmetrical in a fraction of a second. What is puzzling to me is that in most situations, when we meet new people, we do not see their face straight on, right from the center, but we see it from an angle. Yet we are still able to tell instantly that they're beautiful. How does this happen? Most likely our brain's visual processing can adjust for the viewing angle. So from a 45-degree angle, say, we have enough of a sense that both sides of the face mirror each other. My unofficial sampling suggests to me that prettier people turn their heads more often since they get positive feedback from others for doing so. Have you ever noticed that most Hollywood actors and actresses tend to be somewhat shorter than normal? Most female actresses tend to be in the range of 5'5" to 5'7", while most male actors tend to be in the 5'7" to 5'10" range, although of course there are exceptions. A movie camera does not care how tall an actor is, since the lens of the camera can be zoomed in or out. That is why the actor Tom Cruise, who's only 5'7" tall, can play tough guy roles in the Mission Impossible series when he punches out similarly short villain after villain. But in real life, Cruise would have trouble punching any big guy in a real-life bar. In movies, height doesn't matter, but physical beauty does matter. So if we measure statistically the height of beautiful Hollywood actors and actresses and come up with the average, we'll have an estimate of the ideal height of a man and a woman. That is, the ideal height that maximizes a person's chances for being beautiful. Men who are 6'5" tall can still be beautiful and perhaps win a role as a leading man in a movie, but it is statistically less likely. That is, as people get bigger and bigger, it is harder for their facial features to stay attractive. A University of Toronto study found that certain facial proportions were identified as beautiful. The distance between the pupils of each eye should be about 46% of the distance between the ears. And the distance from the eyes to the mouth should be 36% of the distance from the lower chin to the hairline. Faces with these proportions were more likely to be identified as beautiful, such as singer Shania Twain or actress Jessica Alba. It is almost as if all of our faces are competing to be the most average face. That is, the closer our face is to the average ideal human face is good, because it tells potential partners that we can mate with practically any human. But averageness has a drawback. If we all looked like Jessica Alba, how could we tell each other apart? There is a huge benefit in having distinctive and unusual features in that it is easier for people to recognize our faces as distinct and remember us. Maybe that is why there are slight imperfections even in highly beautiful faces. Study Jessica Alba's face. Study it closely and you'll notice that her left eye is ever so slightly lower than her right eye, yet she's still beautiful. Not all facial features are equally important when assessing beauty. Perhaps the two most critical features are the eyes and nose, since they don't move much. So it is important that these features in particular be symmetrical. The eyes are the main point of focus when we are talking to somebody. And the nose gets much attention too, since it is close to the eyes. The mouth, however, moves when we smile or talk, so it is harder to judge if it is naturally asymmetrical or if it is simply talking. The actress Kaley Cuoco has a slightly tilted mouth when it's at rest, but again, she's beautiful, which suggests that the mouth is less important in assessing beauty when compared to the eyes and nose. The Indian actress Aishwarya Rai has one eyebrow slightly raised when resting, but still she's beautiful. Since the eyebrows and mouth can change shape and move, it is harder to tell if there's an asymmetry, so they seem to be less important in assessing beauty. Ears are spaced far apart, so they're less important. For example, most people consider comedian Stephen Colbert to be handsome, even though one of his ears is quite different from the other. Accordingly, we pay much greater attention to the symmetry of the eyes and nose, and less attention to the mouth and eyebrows because they can change shape, and less attention to the ears because they are far apart when we are assessing beauty. Beauty is primarily visual, since as humans, our most important sense is sight, since a majority of our sense-related neurons are devoted to seeing. Our brains are hardwired to enjoy a beautiful face. Perhaps it reminds us of being mothered, of being safe. So no wonder why we like to surround ourselves with pretty people, why we try to make ourselves look beautiful with makeup and haircuts and clothing. Since beauty is about life, it is about youth, it is about love and mating. Well, all of us, all living humans, are the result of successful genetic experiments, and that our parents found each other attractive enough to create us. We all have varying levels of beauty. Further, we can do things to make ourselves look more attractive with makeup, clothing, by smiling, by having good personalities, by developing other skills and talents and qualities to compensate if we didn't exactly win the genetic beauty lottery. That is, each of us, in our own way, can maximize our attractiveness. Beauty is about appreciating beauty, hearing a ballad in which pleasant notes go together in relaxed, ordered progressions. It is about harmony and balance, ordered things coexisting happily, which is why a frown or an angry grimace, even on a beautiful woman, can make all her beauty vanish like the flapping wings of a distressed bat. So we choose symmetrical lecterns and symmetrical houses with matching shrubberies, which says to ourselves and to others that this house is ordered, built with a design which you can judge in an instant because the left and right sides match. This house is not an asymmetrical rock outcropping from a cave, but rather it is a planned existence built by humans who support life because they appreciate beauty. If you live in a symmetrical house, you can mate with a symmetrically faced human and have symmetrically faced children and have an ordered and safe and beautiful human life. Thank you.